guys, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Pamela and this is PamelaWorld. In today's video, I have some amazing Mext scholars here and they are going to be sharing a lot with us. We'll learn so much from them, and I am from Ghana. I would love them to introduce themselves as well. So if you are new here, you're welcome to our channel, and if you're a return subscriber, thank you for coming back. We'll start with Prince.
Okay, thank you very much, Pamela. So my name is Prince Acosta Waje. I'm from Ghana, and I'm doing my PhD in International Economic Development at the IDEC Institute of Hiroshima University.
Wow. Thank you very much.
Hello viewers,
Hello.
My name is Chomuno Vilatapa, but I prefer to be called Chomi. I'm a mathematics education student, third year student in the Faculty of Education. Yeah, nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you too.
Hi, my name is Oluwaseyi Ajala. I'm from Nigeria. I'm doing my PhD in applied chemistry at Graduate School of Engineering. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Hello, my name is Melek Kasri. I'm from Tunisia. I'm doing my PhD in quantum matter. I'm a third year PhD student in the Graduate School of Advanced Science of Matter in Hiroshima University. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you too. And I'm sure you already know my name. How is your stay going in Japan so far? How are things going? How are you enjoying your life here?
Yeah, it's cool, like for me. Okay.
It's great. Nice.
Yeah, I think it's peaceful, you know. I like the serene environment and, you know, enjoying nature and all that. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, even me, it's okay, but it's a bit expensive, but I can't complain.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's fine.
That's true.
Yeah.
For me, this is kind of my last year in Japan, so I'm excited to finish the PhD and move on to other things.
Okay. The Mext scholarship is open in Ghana. Is it open in your countries as well?
Yes, I think April to May is like, yeah, it's already open and it ends in May. I think.
Oh, okay. Ours ends in June, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the 30th of June, 2023.
Okay, in Nigeria it's currently open. I think from this month, May till, is it June ending or July ending?
Okay.
Oh, in Zimbabwe is also open, and the deadline is the 31st of this month.
31st of May.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Ghana it's 30th of June. Yeah. I'm very interested to know, how did you hear about the Mext scholarship? Of all the scholarships in the world, I mean, in so many countries, how did you hear about Mext?
Okay. Where are you starting from?
You can
Should
go
I-
ahead.
Okay, so I think I have a peculiar case with mine. I didn't really hear about the Mext scholarship, but I wanted to pursue my PhD study, so I was exploring, and I first contacted my supervisor, and you know, we went through the process and all that, and he told me, okay, so there are two types of scholarships that I can apply to, the JICA and the Mext, and I should read about it if I. So basically, I heard it from my potential supervisor at that time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And how did you meet your potential supervisor?
Okay, so I think this is the trick, you know. I knew what I wanted to do, so I wanted to pursue something on urban policy and planning. So I was out there looking for, you know, people or professors who have the same research interests like mine. So I met my supervisor on LinkedIn,
Wow.
you know, and then I read some of his papers and all that, and I quickly went to the university's website, and I took his email address and I sent him a cold email, you know, detailing what I want to do, and then some of his papers I've read, and you know why I think he is the best to supervise my research work and all that, and some of the papers that I've also published. So I did that, and then later he got back to me. Yeah, so that's how I got him. I got him from LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's through him you got to know about the scholarship?
Yeah, so I saw what he's doing in regards to urban policy and planning on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And then I took his details. I went to the website of the Hiroshima University, and then I took his email from there, and I sent him the email.
That's nice.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't my plan to go for any scholarship. But fortunately, I had a friend who came here for teacher training program.
Okay.
So he is the one who informed me that there is also another part of the scholarship called the research student. And he also gave me the link and the guide, which I then went through, and then I applied for the scholarship.
Wow.
So I get to know about Mext.
Okay.
Yes.
Shay.
Yeah, I think since 2016,
Okay.
yeah, that was when I know about the scholarship, but I could not apply because it takes like a year before you get to know if you are selected or not. So I decided to apply for, like, I wanted to try for my master's, but that 1 year is too,
Too long.
it's too long. So I tried some other scholarship for my master's, thinking after my master's, then I will now apply for Mext and other scholarship. So I think that was the case in my, and I applied, like you said, I applied through university recommendation as well, not through embassy, because I was not even in the country when I applied.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was not in Nigeria, so I cannot even try embassy recommendation. But university recommendation, you can apply anyway.
Yeah.
Not necessary to be in your country. So you write to the professor, like you write code email to the professor. You search for professor based on your interest. Then you write to the professor like you want to do PhD under his supervision. Blah, you explain everything. You like his research. And so if the professor likes your email, your CV, he's going to reply you. Then he's going to explain maybe, okay, there are 2 Mext scholarships. Like for me too, more like the same thing. My professor told me there are 2 Mext I can apply. There is one specialized for engineering.
Okay.
And there is general.
Oh.
So for the engineering, the graduate school of engineering can recommend 5 students for PhD.
Okay. Under the university recommendation.
Under the university recommendation. It's like, for university recommendation, they have different, there is special program. So mine is under special program. Yeah, it's under special program.
I think mine is also under special
You
program.
have special.
They call it the IEDP program.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm also under. And my supervisor, was given the opportunity to choose one person. So I think at that time we were 7 people who approached him and then he interviewed us.
Yeah. Like mine too, we are a lot. Like my professor told me, like he received a lot of email, so he had to like do some kind of screening. And mine was, he sent us question, like entrance exam to write.
Okay.
Then he told me later on, he was telling me that he picked the highest person, the person that scored the highest mark. Okay, so that
Sharp
was
students.
yeah. Anyway, so that was I applied through him. Like he sent me all the application documents, stuff like that. So that was I
Okay.
applied.
Mine is not as complicated.
Same here.
So basically, I was finishing my undergrad studies, and I always wanted to do to do a master abroad, and I didn't know where, and Europe is a bit expensive and everything. But it was kind of the closer option to Tunisia, and like a lot of Tunisians went to Europe, but I am a big fan of Japanese anime, and so because I wanted to learn to be able to watch anime without subtitles, I enrolled in a Japanese course, like a very basic Japanese course in Tunisia.
Oh, really?
See, I'm still bad at Japanese, but that's not the point. And so one of the guys that works at the Japanese embassy in Tunisia was also trying to better his Japanese, and so he told me about the scholarship, and then I applied. That's it. Yeah.
Wow. For me, I heard about it through a professor in my university. During my national service in Ghana, if you study after you graduate, you have to do a 1-year national service. I think in Nigeria, it's NYSC. Yeah, so during that period, and I met her, she had just come from Japan, Kochi University, Dr. Winnie, and she told me about it on a field trip. And she just asked me, would you like to study abroad or you want to get married? And I said, hey, I want to study. So she immediately said, okay, she'll send me a link. Yeah, so that's how I got to know about Mext scholarship. Yeah. So Cho, you mentioned something about research studentship, and you mentioned a friend stated that there's a research student, and there's a teacher training. What qualifies one to be a research student? What qualifies anyone to be a research student?
Okay. I think anyone who is studying maybe meaningful subject area, or by meaningful I'm referring to that area which is considered or which is accepted worldwide,
Okay.
yeah, or which can be viewed with the lens of worldview. Like, of course, it's related to STEM in most cases, STEM subjects, economics, education, and so forth. Though it's difficult for example, someone who is studying a local language to get that scholarship is a bit difficult. So I say students are anyone who is studying all those areas qualifies to be under such student. And of course, you should be someone with a degree already, made for masters and PhD.
Yes. So that is like in Japan, when you're a research student, is either you are into master program or PhD.
Undergraduate, okay.
Of course, I'm talking based on my 2019 experience. By then, the teacher training program was more easier than research because those ones were more like handpicked or recommended by the ministry to the embassy. Then the embassy would then do their own selections, something like that. Yeah, that's the difference.
I think it's also the same. But do you know anything about undergraduates applying for Mext scholarship? Because I've met a few, not from Ghana though, but they also say they're on Mext.
Yeah, I know, like, I think I know one Nigerian too on undergraduate. So people apply, but they have different, I think they have different cycles. Okay, I think it's open to both undergraduate masters and PhD.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
it
but
depends on the country quota.
I don't think they go. So I have Tunisians that are undergrad,
Okay.
but they don't go to national universities. After they apply and they get selected, they go into this like school, I don't know, it's a training school, and then after they only like get 3 years there, and if like their GPA is very high, then they get to finish in university and everything. So you don't go to bachelor degree like
Yes,
here
yes,
in
yes.
undergrad. So that's more complicated for
Yeah,
undergrad.
it's more
I wouldn't recommend it honestly.
Yeah, because you have to be very good
In Japanese. Yeah, so if you're
So
good in
most
Japanese, you
people,
can.
most people tend to like most people that come here for undergraduate, they like quit. Some people quit because you have to receive
Everything is in Japanese.
The first
Yeah.
year you have to study Japanese. So the other undergrad, Tunisians undergrad, are all JPT N1.
Oh.
So,
Okay, that makes sense.
They
No,
qualify.
but they studied Japanese here when they came here. The first year is very, very intensive
Yeah,
Japanese.
Japanese course.
Then they go to these training programs, but it's not actual bachelor degree.
Okay.
So you have to have a very, very high GPA after the 3 years training in this institution, and then you get like to finish maybe in a university and everything.
Okay.
So yeah.
For the lady I know, she studied undergrad here, but before she even left her country, she also had N1. So when she came, it was very easy for her, and she studied in an international university. Yeah, so
Some
it
people
was,
are trying.
yeah.
I think having the
Yeah,
Japanese,
They are trying.
if you are coming
Some
for
of us.
undergraduate, having the Japanese skills before coming, it will
It's-
be
it's-
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's a plan. Yeah.
But trying to learn the Japanese here and stuff.
My brother, it's
Yeah,
not easy.
because you can't be the two at the
I
same
think
time.
they won't let you be an undergrad here without a GLPT and
A high level, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What are some of the differences between the embassy recommended and university recommended? Because I'm under embassy recommended scholarship, and
Me too.
I'm hearing university, you guys applied to the professor. How did you go about it?
Okay,
Can you
so I
elaborate
think
on
maybe we can talk about the
Yours.
university recommended, then you talk about the embassy, and then the people can, highlight the differences from it. So with the university recommendation, with regards to mine, the only time I remember I went to the embassy was when I was going for my visa.
Visa.
Yes, I didn't go for any interview at the embassy, any exams at the embassy, whatever. You understand? So what happened was that after getting my supervisor and after the interview and everything, he sent me an email that he has selected me. So now he linked me to the student support service at the university. So with regards to Mext scholarship, one thing is sure. You first need to get admission at the university before you move on to do the Mext application. So in my case, I first applied to Hiroshima University as a school.
Okay.
And then, yes, I got the admission as a student in Hiroshima University. And then the student support, because when you are applying for the school admission, there is a section where you need to indicate your source of funding for schooling. So I indicated Mext scholarship. You understand? So when I got the admission, the school sent me my admission letter and everything, and they told me that later they will send me the link for me to apply for the Mext scholarship.
Okay.
So yeah, so they sent me the link, and then I started. And I think the student support service really helped me throughout the application, because they told me that if I have any difficulties or whatever, I should. So what I did was that I always do a draft. Mext scholarship, they have their own template and everything.
Samples.
Yes. So I always do a draft. I send it to my supervisor, and also I send it to the lady in charge of the student support service. They will check, and if there are any suggestions or comments, and then I will review it, and then I will submit. So that is it. So I dealt directly with the student support service.
Oh, student support.
But
Yes,
did you pay an admission fee?
Did you pay an admission
No,
fee?
Nothing. I paid nothing.
Actually, the difference between embassy and university recommendation is embassy, you go through embassy.
Yeah.
University, you go through university recommendation. But for for you to go through university, you have to secure a professor.
Professor.
Mhm.
That is the first step, getting a professor. So, and let me say, university recommendation, once you secure a professor and you pass through the university screening and you pass, you get the scholarship. It's more secure, like your fate earlier compared to
The embassy.
embassy where you have to do
It takes time, It's systematic.
A lot of waiting.
As for the embassy, I think the last phase is for you to get admission.
Professor, yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
last one.
Yeah. So
And
once
for
you
the
get
embassy,
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
embassy, you have to
Last
secure the scholarship first.
first, okay.
Yeah.
you look for
Yes.
professor.
Actually, the procedure is you submit the documents, then they screen the documents, they shortlist you for an oral and written interview. Then you come for a written interview. If you pass, you come for the oral interview. After the oral interview, they give you now a certificate, which you then use to
apply,
yes.
It's called an acceptance letter.
Okay.
If you have that, immediately the professor sees your email, they reply.
I think that would be easier for
Yeah.
professor acceptance, because when you want to go through university recommendation, you have to write to professors. Like you can write some professors, you
They will
not
not
get
That's
feedback.
true.
But once you're able to get the feedback from a professor, and the professor say, okay, let's try this thing, stuff like that, and you pass through the university screening, then you are good. You are good to go, because automatically like you said, the university will link you to what we call the support office.
The
So they'll
support
put
office,
you
yeah.
through. They'll help you with the application,
Applications and
with the admission. Like for me, my admission went like concurrently, like
At the same
at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah, at the same time. So you go through the admission and everything together. So
Straightforward.
Straightforward.
And earlier, fast.
and fast.
Okay. Ours is different. Ours, I think the whole application takes about a year.
Yeah.
A year. So you first have to apply. And what are some of the documents you submitted to the
Oh,
Embassy
For the
recommendation.
embassy? Yes,
Okay.
embassy. What are some of the documents
So
you submitted?
embassy, there is those application forms you find on the website.
Mhm.
There is a letter of recommendation, at least one, during using the sample and everything. There's undergraduate. For me, I was doing the master, so all the transcripts of undergrad. You can add documents later, because usually in Tunisia you graduate around June or July, but you have to apply in April and May. So I didn't have my degree, but I could send them later. And the undergrad transcript has to be translated, because we use French and they use English.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to authenticate the undergrad transcript and a health form. So it's very long, and you have to go through blood work and x-rays and whatever. And I think that's all.
For me, I don't do
Because you're
anything.
under
Health form.
University.
Yes, we are under
Okay.
embassy.
Okay.
So embassy, they have a list of things, documents on their website that you have to submit. Yes.
Usually you go to a family doctor and he will fill the form.
Yeah.
But for me, the doctor I went to, he wanted me to do all
All
the
the
tests.
I think it's easier if you have a family doctor.
Yeah.
Did you have to authenticate which documents?
Yeah, the undergrad transcripts, after they translated them from French to English, and then I have to go to this, like the Shiak show here, like
Okay,
the city
city
of,
office.
yeah, to authenticate them, and then the degree later, because also the degree is in French and they want the English version, and a lot of authentication and a lot of waiting in line.
In my case, for Ghana, I had to submit the documents to the scholarship secretariat.
Oh.
During my time, I submitted it was a very old building after physicians and surgeons, but after I submitted, I didn't even know I'll hear from them because they did not handle my documents really well for me that way, yeah. But later I heard from the embassy, so I knew that it had gone through. But now they've moved it from where it was originally to around Accra High. I learned they share the same premises. So their address is also on the Mext application, so you can submit it to their address. But it's better to send it in person. That's
No,
the
we
best
send
thing.
it to the embassy in person.
You send it to the embassy
Yes,
directly?
to the
Wow.
embassy directly.
Okay. Ours has to go through the scholarship secretariat first. If you submit to the embassy, they will reject it. Yeah, you have to submit to. Yeah.
Yeah, in my case, of course, I submitted my documents in person. Of course, the way the security person handled the documents was not pleasing at all. He just said, "Oh, put them there." Yeah, I was so worried, but anyway.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
maybe in addition to all the documents you mentioned, in my case, I also submitted the abstract for my previous research.
Yeah.
It was also required.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
also
submitted that
submit
too.
the
I
field
submitted
of
that
study
too.
and
Field
research
of study,
Yeah.
any published papers.
research
yes.
program,
Research
what you
program.
want to do
Ah,
at the
yes,
university.
yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
forgot about that.
And they have some sample formats on the website. I think it's advisable you use those formats. Because I think for one of my recommendations is I used the normal format. The professor wrote it and sealed and signed it. But later on, they asked me to let him do it all over again. So if you can, I think.
I struggled with that research project because I have no supervisor and I wanted to do theoretical physics, and so I have to come up with my own project and research and when I sent the papers, I'm like, there's no way they're gonna accept it. Because I didn't even fully know what I was talking about.
How long after you submitted the documents did you hear from them?
So let's also talk about
Hey, yes,
ours,
please
yeah.
talk about yours.
So for university recommendation,
Document.
the documents, yeah. So yeah, I think yours is relatively better because you just have to move to the embassy or whatever in your country. We were using DHL.
Yeah, we spent
Wow.
So we spent I spent a lot of money on sending the documents. And if you don't take care and later you leave some of the documents and you have to send it again and all that. So it was a bit costly in doing that. It was a bit costly.
and that is why you won't be like, okay, they only require you to send your document after you pass what we call the university screening.
Yeah.
So at that point, it is sure that you're going to get the offer, so you can invest.
Okay.
So you will not feel bad at the end of the day.
Actually, for me, mine was a bit unique because when I wrote my letter to the university, they said we want you to send the hard copies. So I sent them via DHL.
Wow.
But I had most people, they don't go through that process.
And you send the original
For your
copy.
first application,
Yes,
for university recommendation, you submit by email. And another thing is, I want to say something. One of the difference, and for university recommendation, you have to have publication.
Yeah.
You have, if you want to go through university recommendation, you have to have.
It makes it much easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also,
that is the first thing your professor will look at.
yes, for PhD,
From your CV.
But that's for PhD.
For PhD, you should
Yeah,
have, you should have
even for
publication.
masters, you should have from your what we call because you can come, you can do your, you can there is also university recommendation for for masters.
Okay.
You can
Yeah,
come through
yeah.
masters. So you just have to have papers to
Papers.
make it much more
So
easy.
if you don't have papers, it's not easy.
Because it's very competitive. The university
Yeah,
recommendation is very
yeah.
competitive.
It's very
So
difficult.
those things will make you stand out.
Yeah.
Even the embassy, actually.
It is
Yeah.
competitive as well, yeah.
Because I've seen
But
like
the embassy, once you pass, the embassy that will invite everybody to write exam.
Yeah.
So once you pass the exam, so
But
anything you
I've seen-
submit,
no, they
does
don't
They
not
have a
have
number
matter.
of people they
They
want.
just
The
don't
process,
pass the
my friend,
exam.
is
You have to.
something else.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to. They pick them. I'd say when I went to pass the exam, the embassy exam, there's like this amphitheater that has like 100 students applying.
Wow.
They picked 7.
Mhm.
Wow.
So only the top of the top of
Yeah,
the top.
they have
of
a
the
number.
exam.
Yeah.
So it's very, very competitive. So out of 107, that's why I was telling you, there's no way I was going to be accepted. So
Yeah, and I think let me also chip this one in for those of us, those of you watching us. When you are searching for a supervisor, when you send a code email, you attach your transcript
Yeah,
and your
yes.
CV. The CV, I've seen instances where people just send any CV. The CV here is academic CV.
Academic
If you don't know how to
CV.
write academic CV,
Yeah.
get someone to help you to
Yeah,
write it.
yeah.
It's very important. Yeah, so
And the truth is, this shortlist as you move up the stage. So first screening, you send all your documents. By the time it gets to the embassy, the scholarship secretariat in my country would have already shifted it, and it would have become just a few.
So they do the first.
They do the first
themselves
screening
before
themselves,
they-
yes. Because I know someone who applied with me, but she didn't make it even to the embassy.
oh.
Yeah, so.
Is that fair or it's not? I mean, it's if it's like Japan, you're applying for Japanese scholarship. Is it like not more fair for the embassy
Embassy
to
to
handle
do
it?
that.
Yeah, that
The
one
truth
is-
is, what I learned they look out for is, they have a list of documents they want you to submit. So if you don't submit all the documents, you make
Of
their
course,
way
they are out.
difficult.
Ah.
So those ones automatically,
Okay.
you are out. Because they can't contact you to now submit, they submit that here. So if you submit everything, you are good to go. And how long after you submitted your documents did you hear from your professor and also from the embassy?
For in my own case, I think I did because university recommendation opens in December, January. Different-
December, January.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you want to apply like for this, you want to apply for this same embassy recommendation that is open. So you have to target December. This is December, January.
January,
To apply.
yeah.
Then you resume the same time with the current embassy
Recommended who are coming in
Who are
April.
coming in
Ah.
Okay.
So if you want to come in September,
September.
do they take people in September?
Yeah,
they
I
take
think- I
they
think
take
September.
people in September.
Okay.
Yeah, take
Yeah.
people. Depend on the school calendar.
Okay.
The university calendar. So I submitted in December, then in February, I think,
February.
yeah,
That's when you heard from your professor.
yes, for the first
Wow.
screening.
No, from the
For the
professor.
first time. I mean, when you submitted all the documents to him,
Yes.
you waited till February to
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
from
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Wow, that's long.
Okay, so I think my process is a bit peculiar because, I send a code email with the two documents, the transcript and the CV,
Mm.
and I think within 2 weeks,
Wow.
he replied that, okay, he has seen my works and, we have the same research interests and all that, but now he has like 7 people. So he needs to screen us, So we prepared a presentation kind of PPT. So we presented our research ideas and everything, and then so I think within 1 month I got the indication that I now have a supervisor.
Okay.
You understand? And then my supervisor gave me a link to go and download the document for the admission process.
Okay.
You see, so I think I did that within 2 months.
Okay.
I applied and everything, and then I was waiting. So I think I got the admission around, was it August?
August.
Yes,
Okay.
somewhere August. That is around 2020, August.
Okay.
And then after that, I began the process for the Mext application itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did mine together. So February, like I applied December, February, so I know that I.
Everything.
Okay, so you got the school admission, the Mext.
No, I got
Same time.
the Mext scholarship.
First.
Like,
February.
yeah, February.
Okay.
Like the university will be recommending me for Mext. Like I passed.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But I want to know, when was the first time? Like, how long did it take after you submitted the documents to your professor? When did you get your first response from
Yeah,
him?
like a month.
A
Like
month?
from December,
Okay.
December, January,
January.
February.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like a month.
Mm.
Like a month.
In my case, when I submitted the documents, the deadline was the 31st of March of that year. So the response from the embassy came around mid-June. Then that's when I was invited for written interview. Then I spent a week again to go there for the oral interview. Then I spent almost a month, I think up to the 31st of July, to get the certificate to say I passed the screening. Yes. The first screening, sort of.
Since the deadline is like I think end of May in Tunisia, so you receive around June like an email to tell you to come and write the exam. So that's the first like time you if the documents are you have submitted all the documents, so you get an email that says you can come and like I don't know, I don't remember, but it was early June or mid-June to pass the written exam, and then you will hear from them again about the second like screening and everything.
Okay. In my case, I think it took about a month as well. We submitted in June, and I heard from them in July. And when I heard from them, they already told me to come and write the exam. There was no preparation time. I had to prepare already.
Yeah.
So during the waiting, I had to start learning on my own. And the next question I would love to ask is, for those who are under the embassy recommended, how was the written exam? Because you had to do a written Japanese and English exam.
Yeah.
How was that for you? Especially the Japanese.
Yeah, for the Japanese, for me, I was at 0.0, if not
Negative.
Yes. So I just used my natural instinct to answer, since it was a multiple choice exam. So it was really weird, but I managed to sail through. But for the English exam, they gave us a link for the past exam papers. So it was easier for us to go through to have that, to familiarize ourselves with the type of question that they would be asking us. That's what I went through.
For me, Japanese was also like absolutely horrible, and the people will tell you like, you don't worry about the Japanese. The English, I didn't get past exams, and it's actually for now that I'm in Japan and I see the level of English in Japan. The exam is pretty hard. Like, it's very like specific. Like they will target grammar and stuff like that is extremely like specific. So when I like passed the exam, I was like, oh my god. I mean, I think being able to like coming to Japan will be very easy communicating with people. Things like their English skills are very high. But yeah. I don't know. I didn't prepare, but I managed to get through. Yeah.
The good thing is, for my application, the whole process, I actually had help. I had someone. Okay, my professor linked me. I mentioned earlier that a professor gave me the link. She didn't just give me the link, she gave me a link to someone who was studying here in her university.
Okay.
And he had come a year before me. So he coached me through the whole process. No wonder he's in Kochi, the coach from Kochi, yeah. And he told me that even if your Japanese is bad, don't worry. It's just a test to let them know that they have to enroll you in a Japanese school when you come. Because my Japanese was 0 when I was applying. Yes, but the English, he told me you have to do your very best, because that is the basis for them to send you to the next step.
Yeah.
Especially because your Japanese is 0. The English is the main thing. So that was something I really paid attention to. And since we're talking about Japanese, I want to know your Japanese levels now. How is it going? Your Nihongo.
Of course, before I respond to your question,
Okay.
my advice to people is to say, even if you don't know anything about Japanese, just feel in.
Yeah. Don't leave it empty.
Yes. Because there might be cases where you have 80%, the other person is 80%, and you have a blank Japanese answer sheet, that one might get 2.
Two.
So that one is
Yes,
a bit of a
considered
single.
issue.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that it's multiple choice, so even if you don't know, you can select something.
Yeah, that's why I said I was using my natural instinct.
But it's long.
It's a lot of
exam.
questions.
Like the
And it's kanji.
My friend, you can't go over.
And you're seeing stars. What did you think? So now how is your Japanese like?
Who, me?
Yeah, Prince.
Oh, well, I'm trying my best. You know,
Moshi.
moshi, my best Japanese jargon. Konnichiwa, Ohayo gozaimasu. I think
Did
I
you
will.
study Japanese when you came here at like intense?
No. You know, I registered for Sanskrit Japanese class. I went for just one month and.
The same, because people who came here and had this intensive Japanese course are very good, like Pam, for example.
The Morito, those.
Yeah. But you and me, for me also, the sensei thought I didn't need Japanese.
Yeah.
So the first time I came here, I tried like that, not at Sanskrit, at the Morito.
Morito.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was very, very hard because I had to manage like 8 classes and the Japanese. And like the first time you go to the Morito Institute and they teach you hiragana.
Just one day.
Yeah, the next session you have to know.
Start writing already.
You ask you to read. And I'm like,
What happened?
Yeah.
very basic Japanese for me, honestly.
In my case, I was fortunate enough to go through the 6 months training. But the problem, I was the only student in that class. So all the 7 professors were taking turns on me. But it was very hard.
At the Morito class?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I came during the pandemic.
Okay, so it was
Yeah,
online.
it was- Of course, I can read and I can understand some Japanese, but my challenge is speaking.
Speaking.
But of course, I can pick here and there.
I can't do any of them.
Yeah.
So you are
And
better.
actually, I wrote my entrance exam in Japanese.
Oh.
And it was all kanji all over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think I developed an art to just use my natural instinct.
Wow.
That's what happened.
I will learn.
So you
We will
have
learn.
it, yeah, you
Yeah,
should
we
learn,
will
you should
we will
learn. It's good. It opens some opportunities
Yeah, we
here.
will learn.
Mine is very bad, let me say, because like she said, I wanted to learn in Japanese, but my professor said, you don't need it. So your program is in English, you don't need Japanese. So I can only speak basic.
Here's the thing, my supervisor said I don't need Japanese. Okay, so I go, I'm happy, it's the master. The master, you have like courses. And so I go in the first course, it's in Japanese. And it's not just like, I don't know, something you can translate. It's math and physics
Wow.
and magnetism and stuff. And then I was like, can I get like an English
version?
So basically he gives me a paper with all of the equations that we're discussing. But he explains in Japanese.
Yeah.
So I don't see why I'm there. I'm there sitting and I don't know what he's talking about. So now I have to go back and research and like study by myself from books and stuff. So I think I would have benefited from like the 6 months.
Yeah, I think for masters, provided that you'll be taking some courses in Japanese, then you should.
Yeah.
But one thing
But
I
for
realized,
PhD, you can do without the
PhD,
language.
no.
Because me, I only selected courses
okay,
That are in English.
yeah, you can select your courses in. One thing I realized is that most of those who come under the university recommendation don't do the Japanese course.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just
It's
me,
not
but-
It's
compulsory.
not compulsory for us.
Ah.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can
Oh,
take,
okay.
but it's not
But
compulsory.
for us, I know for some people it is, others it isn't. So it's different. And you know one funny thing, I had a friend who we wrote this Japanese exam with. He knew nothing, but had 90. And his professor,
Is it multiple choice?
multiple choice.
Oh, then I will try. I'm very good at that. Don't worry,
And
I'll
his
go.
professor
I'll
asked me
try.
that, I don't think you need your Japanese level is very high. He said,
Nice.
I mean, it was a lot.
Yeah.
And how did shortlisting go for you, especially because you had to write the English, the Japanese, from that time to the interview process, especially for the embassy recommended? How long did it take, and how was your interview?
Okay, so you go in June to pass the written exam, the English and Japanese. Then at the end of June, early July, they tell you if you passed the first screening or not, and they give you a date for an interview. I think it was a lot of people, I think maybe 80 or 90 people. There was a lot of people, yeah. And they selected only 7.
Wow.
And then second screening, they took 1, so we were only 6. And like the interview, they grill you pretty hard. Like,
Very
what
hard.
is this? What is this? Everything. They look at your transcripts. They're like, yeah. But most of them were Tunisians actually in the panel.
Oh, okay.
There's just only one
One
Japanese,
Japanese.
and the others are yeah.
Wow.
And Tunisians are pretty hard. I mean, they're very. And there's this guy who also is one of the people in like American scholarship also. So when you enter, he's gonna make you cry. Like with the question, like why did you get like 90%, not 100%,
Oh, really?
like
Wow.
something like this? And yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
very stressful I think for me.
In my case, like I told you that I spent 3 months after the submission, document submission. Then when I went for written exam, I just spent maybe 3 days. Because after the exam, they said we are going to inform you to come for oral interview. Then I just spent 3 days. Then after the oral interview, they created a WhatsApp group. That's when
Wow.
I knew that
These are the people.
Yes. Of course, there were now 5 of us
Wow.
out of all those people.
What do they ask you, for example, in the interview?
Yeah, one of the panelists just said, what can you say about those people who studied in Cuba? So I just said something good about them. Then later I said, that's where I studied. Then he was just asking some trick questions, just to test your maybe your patience and your something like that. Yeah.
It looks like yours is totally different from mine. In my case, the first question they asked me was my knowledge of Japan. What I know about Japan, what I like about Japan, why Japan. Yeah, so they grilled me on that. And I had a coach, as I said, so I had prepared very well to yell them, to tell them everything I knew and make them know that, yes, I know a lot about Japan. The next phase was about my proposal, especially because it was a science-related field. They asked me a lot of questions. They asked how practical it is, how it can apply to both Ghana, to Japan, and if my professor has to give me the opportunity, how do I think I can also help others? So that was more of my interview. And the last part they asked me, funny enough, this was the same question my professor asked me about, I'm so young, why do I want to travel? I was very young then.
What?
Yeah, I'm so young, why do I want to travel? Why don't I want to stay? And I understand them, because on the panel I had people from Ghana and Japan. And it's a Ghanaian who asked me this, especially because for most people, marriage is their next option after school. Do you get it? So they think everyone should more or less follow that same track. But if your track is different, they tend to ask you some questions. So he asked me, you're so young, why are you going outside? You should stay here, get some experience, and get married, settle down. And I told him that everything is achievable. So yeah, I left it at that.
Actually, it happened for guys too. I remember I know someone that applied for JICA.
Wow.
And the guy went with his, what we call, the NYC stuff. I'm like, you are young. People are applying, they are 30 something.
Yeah, you are in your 20s.
Yeah, your 20s. Yeah.
I think for me, they grilled me about my research proposal because most of the people who applied are already engineers, or if people like they're doing PhD in economics or like law or something, but they never had someone who wanted to do theoretical physics. And so for me, I just like they were grilling me about the research proposal, and I was like sweating and looking
I think it's almost similar because they want to know if you are aware of your studies. So
Yeah, I want to know
so
your
they ask you more about your studies. Why did you choose this one? What's the benefit? Something like that.
And they tell you that after finishing the master, you want to go back to Tunisia and help the country.
Yeah, sure.
And my friend from the embassy said, you say, yeah, I'm going back to Tunisia.
Yeah, of course.
And for the university recommended students, how does it go with your
The
interview?
interview.
Well,
You can
yeah,
do it.
well, I think that my interview was just a presentation. I
Oh.
presented my research proposal, and then but initially I presented something, a background of me.
For the screen.
Where- No, well, you know, I don't know what you mean by screening, but I just had an interview with my supervisor.
Only your supervisor.
Only my supervisor.
Wow.
He selected me and I'm done. I
Wow.
didn't go through screening. Yeah, so that, and it was just 5 minutes. I did a 5 minutes presentation.
5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes.
That's
Wow.
enough.
Yeah.
That's
enough.
enough. You know when they talk about you pitching your
Yeah, that's
idea,
an
you
elevator,
pay
elevator
so
pitch,
five,
elevator pitch.
yeah.
That's
so
it,
just 5 minutes.
elevator, right?
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
be able to pitch it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's good.
So-
Yeah, I also had interview with my professor. That was the first one. Then with other professors in my lab because we have 3 professors. Each my
Okay.
professor making 3. So it's more like chemistry stuff like that. So it's not something really serious. So it was about my undergraduate because like for me, my master's is quite different from my undergraduate.
Okay.
I did my undergraduate in chemistry, so I went to do master's in environmental science. Then I'm coming back to do PhD in chemistry.
Hey, what happened?
So actually, chemistry is very tough. Like when I was in Nigeria, it's very tough. So I don't want to do. When I was graduating, I said I don't want to do anything
Chemistry. You are done with this, but
Yeah.
Organic chemistry.
Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
I studied organic
Yeah.
chemistry.
So I said
Oh my
no.
God.
I know because then we spend like 8 hours in the lab.
Now, you know,
So I said no, I don't want to do
Right,
anything
lab.
chemistry again. Yeah. So I moved to environmental science.
Science.
But after finishing environmental science, I feel like there's still opportunity in this. Like I should not look at the stress.
Yeah.
So,
And do it, yeah. And I would like you to talk about the health certificate, especially for the embassy recommended students. Because you mentioned you had to give it to a doctor to do it.
Yeah.
In a hospital or your family doctor?
Well, I went to one of like my usual doctors, and he actually sent me to the hospital to do like X-rays and blood work and everything. And then like he just came back to the doctor and he filled the document, and I had to give it with all the documents in April or May.
Oh,
So
yeah,
everything,
together.
all together.
For me, I went to a hospital, and of course, I also submitted that health certificate together with all other documents.
Documents.
Yes, at once, yeah.
I also did same, but I remember someone telling me I should make sure the doctor stamps. Even
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
sign, they should still
Yeah,
stamp.
Yeah.
If they don't stamp, it will be rejected.
Yeah.
Because
in
the thing
Nigeria,
is-
you have to go to a government hospital.
Oh.
Then there must be stamp and everything.
Before it's accepted.
Yeah, before it's
Wow. And in Nigeria too, which other documents do you have to authenticate?
Yeah, you have to authenticate your transcripts,
Okay.
certificates.
Okay.
Yeah, the 2.
And I know for most countries, visa processing takes a long time. I would like to know how long yours took.
In Nigeria, it takes only 1 week.
Wow.
Like
Okay.
you submit, then 7 days after, they will call you.
Call you.
So you just go there with your visa, what we call your Mext certificate,
Yeah.
visa form,
Passport.
the visa
Yeah,
application
definitely.
form
Yeah.
filled, then your passports. I think, yeah, that is all. Then you submit, the lady will check, then she's going to give you one slip like this for collection, for the passport collection thing. You go then after a week, they'll send you email, your passport is ready. Then you're ready.
You mean for the visa?
For the
Yeah,
visa.
for the visa.
For mine, it took 3 hours. I think.
Mine took 2 hours. I was waiting for him to finish.
Oh,
Mine
really?
took just 2 hours. In fact, when I submitted and I was going back, they called me that it's ready. I should come back for it.
Okay.
For me, they just say sit down there. And they were
Wow.
processing.
Ah.
Actually, we were many. That's why it took 3 hours.
Wow.
I think mine took like 3 days.
3 days.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So indeed, the student support office really helped
Helped
me.
you.
Yeah, so they sent my details and everything to
To the
the
embassy.
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 And they told me that the embassy will contact me.
Yeah, the same.
Yeah,
the
so
same.
the embassy
will
contacted me and
contact,
then
yeah.
I submitted everything in like 3 days. They called me that it's ready.
It's ready. Malek, how did you
Um,
school?
We got invited to the embassy for like all of the Mex scholars with like to do a briefing, and on the way in we gave our passports. We didn't fill anything. after the debriefing and on our way out, we got like
The
the
visa,
passports
yeah.
with the visa
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
I think that's the advantage of the embassy
Yeah, the
recommended
embassy.
because you already
Yeah.
have your documents.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
much easier.
Also for Tunisia, if you're coming to Japan as a tourist, you don't need a visa for 3 months.
Oh.
So
Okay.
there's no issue with visa and everything. Yeah.
And in the case of university recommended scholarships, did you guys need an acceptance letter? Because for the embassy, I needed an acceptance letter before I could apply.
For the visa?
No, for the scholarship. After I'd gotten the scholarship, they had confirmed I have the scholarship. I had to apply to the school.
No, for,
Okay,
in my
university,
case.
for university, the
Yeah.
first step is finding a professor.
Professor.
Yes.
So, you're
So after finding a professor,
You apply to the
you
school.
apply through the professor to the
To
school.
the school.
then through the
So
school
once
to the
you pass
embassy.
Yeah.
the school, then the school will take in charge. They connect you to the student support.
Okay.
Now your professor is no more dealing with you.
Yeah,
So you'll be
okay.
dealing with the student
Student
support
support.
and Mext.
and Mext.
Oh.
And so you'll be dealing with the student support. The student support will be dealing with the
The
Mext.
mess on your behalf.
So any information, the student support will tell you, you are submitting this, then you submit.
Submit.
You are submitting this, then you submit. That's it.
Yeah, I also needed a letter of acceptance.
Yeah.
Because after they tell you you have the scholarship and everything in July, in August you have to search for a supervisor.
Supervisor, yeah.
And those people, they don't respond.
They don't respond on time. It takes time.
Yeah, that is the
I
challenge.
had an
Yeah.
Excel sheet with like departments
And
name.
then
Yeah.
everything. You also have Excel
I think
sheet,
that,
right?
that process is very cumbersome.
It
Yeah.
is.
Even for university recommendation, if actually it's because maybe your professor advertised the position on LinkedIn.
No, he
No,
didn't.
he didn't.
Okay. Except in that case, getting a professor, like for me, I remember because I was writing email and in fact some will respond. When you send another email, they will not respond again.
Yes, no, but
Like
Truth is, they're
generally-
actually busy. I learned they're very
Yeah,
busy.
Generally, that is how it is done.
Mm.
If you decide to pursue a PhD, you don't limit yourself to one professor.
Yeah.
For me, I also had
always
an
email.
Excel
Email.
template
Yeah.
with professors, their
The
research
university,
there.
mm.
So I just, I cast
Your
the
next.
next one.
But for
So,
me,
yeah.
in Tunisia, I think, because when you submit the application form, you have to submit a paper where there are 3 choices of your
University, yeah.
And
same.
then I got the scholarship. I sent emails to the multiple supervisors in those three universities. No one responded.
Yeah.
And so I contacted the embassy. So I went back to the embassy. One of the ladies is very, very helpful. And she gave me this almost book with all universities.
Yeah, they are
And
professors.
and I had to one
One
and
by one.
one by a lot of them.
Really?
Wow.
I
Department.
I emailed more than 50 emails.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too.
at Hiroshima University, I emailed 3 professors.
Wow.
Hiroshima University.
Yeah,
only.
it's very difficult.
It's very difficult for the professor.
But once you find a professor,
Yes.
everything is
Mm.
easy. Even for embassy recommendation, getting a professor is very difficult.
It's very difficult. I remember when I also got that Excel document, I applied to Tokyo. Even this university, I applied to a different professor. He did not reply. And I've been seeing him now, though. But I also applied to Hokkaido. And I remember, it's so cold up there. I want something cool. And Okayama never got back to me. Tokyo never got back to me. Osaka never got back to me. Kyoto, Kobe. So at a point I was becoming frustrated and I told the embassy that this was happening. And I told my coach as well. And he said, oh, he actually has a friend in Hiroshima. So if I say I've applied to Hiroshima, he'll ask him. Because definitely the student support office would have that. And that friend was Christian. So Christian asked the students.
Our Christian.
Yes, so
Oh,
Christian
okay,
asked the
okay.
student support office. And they said, oh, they've received my documents, but they've not processed it or anything. And we had a deadline to submit.
Yes, because you
So
had-
there was a lot of pressure on me.
But for the good thing, after in COVID, for example, I had Tunisians who wrote also 3 recommendations in the university, but then they only limited them to those 3 universities. So I had to check only from these 3 universities. For me, I had the time. Actually, I didn't apply for Hiroshima University at first. But my mom was watching a documentary about the atomic bomb. Just try to Hiroshima University. And then I got replies from
So your mother knew about it, but in my case, I didn't tell anybody else applied for this
okay.
scholarship. The
Oh.
only people who knew were my professor and my friend here. That was it.
Oh.
None of my family members knew I was applying for
Even
uni.
your parents?
None of them knew.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I stress my dad so
it's something in my country.
I didn't want to have
Yes,
them
yes,
anxious, you
yes,
know, they
yes.
are anxious that you are going to school, yeah, so I just
Apart,
kept it low.
apart from that, we have this notion that when you are traveling,
You don't tell anybody!
you don't tell anyone.
It's not good. It's not good.
You understand?
So nobody
Yeah,
knew
so
about it.
My parents knew about it.
Oh,
because
that's great.
my dad helped me with a lot of papers since
Okay.
the application process happened when I was also having exams. At my university is kind of far away, like an hour by train from all the documents where you should do everything. And also he waited for me at the embassy, even like in the interview. It was hot and he was waiting outside the
Oh,
whole
nice.
time.
That's very
that's a
nice.
great support.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it actually without like my parents'
Support, that's
For me, getting a supervisor was really a challenge because, of course, I received some response from other universities. They were saying we can only teach you in Japanese.
That is another challenge. Why
It's
some
only my
professors
sensei
will not
here
reply.
who said, he responded to say, I'll accept you to teach you in English.
English.
But now, when it comes to that certificate that was needed, he didn't respond. So the last day, I just decided to email him again, saying, this is the last day.
This is the last day, please.
Then in
help
10 minutes
me.
back, the certificate was there.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, because
But they don't
they have to
respond.
send
On
you the,
time,
like,
yeah.
the
Mm.
letter of acceptance so you can get it to the embassy so they're sure they know where you're going and everything. So yeah.
The next thing I would like to know is, after you got your acceptance letter, you have your professor, everything, from the time where you leave, you get that acceptance and everything, to the time you leave your country, how long did it take? For me, it felt like eternity, because I knew in August, but I left in April. So I had to keep it, like, all that whole time to myself, like, oh, I'm traveling, but I didn't have my air tickets or anything. So how long did it take, and what was your anxiety levels then as well?
So I think for me, okay,
Yeah,
so for us,
yeah.
because of COVID,
Okay.
yeah, because of COVID, so we couldn't come at the stipulated time.
Mm.
I think I got everything around June. That's the first batch. Around June, so I was supposed to be here, I think, by 30th September. And then they closed the borders, so we had to wait. And then, so I think from 2021, I think I spent like 7 months in Ghana.
Wow.
And I came here April 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, so within that period, we were doing
still
online.
fresh.
online.
Yeah,
I'm so fresh. Yes, we were doing online classes, and it was a heck of time, you know, because our seminar starts at 2 p.m. Japan time,
That's 5 a.m.
and that's around 5 a.m. in Ghana. You understand? So sometimes I need to wake up around 4:30 and prepare, sit behind my laptop, and you know, I remember the last time I had a seminar and there was lights out in Ghana around 5 a.m. and so that is it.
Yeah, I think
It's like
same for I supposed to travel September 28th, but because of COVID, so in December I got my visa and my ticket to travel. I think December 7th. Then that was when this Omicron.
Yes.
The new variant.
The new variant. So they canceled my ticket, canceled my visa.
Your visa.
So
They canceled your visa.
yeah,
Yes,
they
yes.
too. So I had to and I bought everything, like I'm traveling. So I ate everything. Like,
You know,
even when I was coming, really, I could not even buy anything because I was not even motivated. Like, like you got this traveling.
there's in my case like this, I had resigned from my work. I was coming, so I resigned. I think a week. Well, I needed like 3 days to buy stuff, and then the Omicron variant.
Yeah,
came.
I supposed to travel on Monday. I was supposed to travel on Monday, and the news came out on Friday.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes, yes,
I wanted
yes.
to
For
cry.
the weekend.
Yeah.
It was weekend. So immediately I heard about the news, I was emailing my professor that probably they can change the dates. Because I know Japan is a very, they can close the border at any
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So I was emailing the guy that maybe they can do anything to the ticket so that I'll be able to travel within the
That
weekend.
weekend.
Before Monday, before any announcement will come on Monday, my bro, not.
And I remember there was this WhatsApp group for Mext scholars, and you
The
know,
people were quitting. Some
it's not easy. It's not
like,
easy.
I'm
A
not
lot of
doing it again.
people
People
had to
quit.
leave, and
Yeah, they
Wow.
quit.
because they couldn't wait.
They couldn't
The
wait.
stress-
Because
the stress
even
was
after the Omicron, they cancelled the ticket and they could not even tell you that okay, you are going this
This
day.
day.
This day, yes, that was.
And sometimes it's
You know?
not their fault because it's. I realized it was from here.
Whatever
Whatever
Japan.
Yeah, whatever Japan says here,
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
to.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not really up to them.
So
I disturbed the embassy people. I
Me, I
I was
didn't even
calling them.
disturb. Me, I didn't even disturb. I wasn't disturbing them. I just, I was thinking I would apply to another scholarship.
Yeah.
So I started some application thinking because the PhD is for 3 years. So
Yeah.
I've wasted almost 6 months at home.
Yes.
So I have to. I
So
have
you were
this-
not studying.
No, no, now
you
can
were
you
not doing
study?
lectures.
Okay.
I was just attending seminars online, but
Me, I was
for my
exempted.
research, I
I told-
needed to be here.
Yeah.
Me, I told my professor that I can't be attending the seminar, so I was exempted from the seminar
Seminar.
because I'm not even in the right like
State
My
of
state
mind.
mind.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't
It
easy.
wasn't easy. Like I didn't even feel understood, and they are not even paying our stipend.
No.
That's the issue.
Mm.
I remember that I sent a mail to the student support office that they should just send me the stipend so that I can be in Ghana and do the research. You understand? Because I had resigned from my work, so I was
So
staying
that was
home.
why some people,
You know,
some
so-
people resigned.
Yeah.
So for me, I just waited. Then later on, I think around March or something, they sent email that I can go and apply for visa. Yeah. Then I applied for visa.
And I think that visa, I think I got it just after a day.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
second one.
the second
So
one.
very
Yeah.
fast. I got it
Very
just after a
fast.
day. so-
In my case, of course, I came during my rightful time because I chose October instead of April. But the challenge was those who were supposed to come in April, they were delayed because of COVID. So I was thinking that since these ones had been delayed, I was also going to be delayed.
Delayed
Yeah,
another
yeah,
I
six
suffered. That was the hardest part of my life.
Yeah, yeah.
That COVID, that experience is very,
It's very bad.
Like you just wake up, you don't even know what to do.
It's not easy. Hi.
But I was fortunate to say we all came at the same time.
The same
Because
time.
of April and last October.
Okay. I think for us, we were already here during COVID. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I came in 2019.
We came
Ah.
the same
April
time, right? April
2019. So you I applied like I'd say April 2018.
Mm.
And so September I got my entrance letter of acceptance
Mhm.
given to the embassy. And so the supervisor tells me when I come here like in April, I have to start studying the master degree right away. So those from September to December, I prepared for my entrance exam online, passed the entrance exam, and January they told me that I succeeded. So it was very stressful. I didn't have any free time. I was studying for my entrance exam. So yeah.
I think in my case, my professor told me to. I don't know if I had to prepare anything. He told me to relax, and there was no time to relax anyway. So I started studying the Japanese on my own, and I had some friends who were also studying. So we were studying together at some point. And when I came, I didn't start immediately like you
Yeah,
did.
you did the research.
Yeah, I had to do Japanese for 6 months, do research for 6 months before I started my master's program. So I started my master's program during the pandemic. Yeah, but I was already here for about a year before then.
But I have, for people who are going to come to Hiroshima University, I don't know all the departments, but if you can prepare in advance, if you're STEM, if you can prepare in advance, like for your examination, entrance exam, it will save you a lot of time. And maybe there are some people in our community didn't fail the first or second time, and that took a long time.
Yeah.
So if you can prepare, especially if it's math and physics or something like that, prepare as much as you can. So because the entrance exam here is really hard.
It's hard. The exam is hard. The entrance exam is
And
hard.
even though you're a Mext scholarship, you're like in Hiroshima University, you're just a student.
Yeah.
If you fail, you fail. There's
You
no
feel like a student, not as a mixed
Yeah,
student.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
But I think my professor was more concerned about research. So I didn't have to put in so much effort for the written parts of my entrance exam here. It was more of my research, what I'm bringing on board.
Yeah.
What can you do? Yeah. And he was also concerned about publications and all that. So that was I think, the main thing. Yes. So now you've gotten your scholarship. You are packing to Japan. What does your scholarship cover? Or do they give you extra money for rent, extra money to move around? Or you do everything from your scholarship?
Okay, so let me also, so you mentioned rent. Let me talk about accommodation. So I think once again, the student support office really helped me. They helped me apply for, so before I got here, I already got in my room, at Sun Square, and everything was all in place. So I think they really helped me. They really helped me with that, yeah. But with what the funding covers, I think it covers everything.
Yeah, fully funded.
Fully funded.
Yeah, it's fully funded, so it covers everything. You
Yeah,
understand?
fully funded.
Your flight and everything.
Just like
Yeah,
one flight
tuition.
on the way in
And
on
the
the way out.
So, yeah, it covers
Well,
your
yeah,
flights,
yeah,
you
yeah.
won't pay anything for
Tuition,
visa.
yeah.
Well, it doesn't cover data collection. If you want to do field studies for us in humanities, if you want to do
I didn't have.
yeah, not like it is JDS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll pay for your flight tickets to and fro, one trip.
One trip.
Yeah.
Then you get monthly stipend.
Stipend.
Like for PhD you get
145, yeah, which is relatively okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
for
live-
you to
Yeah,
survive.
Compared to other countries,
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, Japan is paying.
It's-
Mext
it's-
is
yes,
Mext
yes.
is paying.
I said I compared with
Compared to
Hungary, and I
So
realized
you
no,
get
Japan
that,
is good.
and
But also, Japan is expensive.
The standard of living
Living
here
there is
is
expensive.
But I think that money is enough for you to survive.
Yeah.
And just
Fine,
okay.
yes. But
Yeah.
now with
For
everything
ramen
is getting
and-
more expensive.
For ramen and
Actually, the money is enough for you.
individual, yeah.
But the problem with us Africans, we want to support you.
home. That is the issue. If you are not supporting home, I think it's fine.
So you get the stipend. You have to sign to get the stipend every month. You get the stipend.
Every month I forget.
Yeah.
So they have to remind you.
And
Right.
I think another advantage with Mext is that you can, if your supervisor allows, you can do part-time
You can
job.
do-
Yeah.
Even with him as a TA,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
a
yeah.
QTA, I'm
Yeah.
currently a qualified
Yeah,
teaching
yeah.
assistant.
Me too, I did it for last year.
I'm even doing it for this year.
CF or there's
I
one
have
teaching
you work
fellow
on
to
today.
Yeah, teaching fellow.
Hiroshima University of
And you see, the funny thing is that when I was coming, when I go to the airport, and then the immigration people asked me, do you want to do part-time? And I was surprised. I said, really, you ask those questions here? And I want to work part-time, okay. So they just, so I got my work permit at the airport. At the yes, I didn't need to come here to apply,
I didn't work
Yeah.
during the master because I was not like, I had to adjust. But then it was very easy. I got it at the immigration, so I didn't even tell my supervisors to go.
So the scholarship is just free ride. Just
It's-
come and enjoy.
Yes.
Just come and
You have to
enjoy.
budget a little bit.
We
so-
are paying you to learn, so
yeah.
just come and
Pay for your accommodation from the stipend.
If you want to do the liquor too, you can just buy.
Yeah,
And is the stipend fixed?
Yeah, it's fixed.
It's fixed.
It's fixed.
It's fixed.
It's fixed and it's paid like every month
Yeah,
at the
every
same
month.
time. So yeah, so it's very precise and helpful. I think. Yeah.
And I learned although the stipend is fixed, they have some priority areas. They give them 2,000 yen or 3,000 yen extra. Like Tokyo.
Oh,
My
really?
friend in
Yeah,
Hokkaido
it's
to get,
expensive.
he gets,
That area is expensive.
Yeah, my friend in
Yeah.
Hokkaido to get.
But
like,
it's
It's just 2,000.
Because during winter
Even
they
for
pay
masters.
the 3,000 during winter.
Yeah. Because Sun Square rent is around 23,000, right?
I think they give them
Tokyo
that
is
kind
like
of money.
50,000.
Yes.
They give them the money because of the living condition.
In Tokyo. Tokyo is very
Like my
expensive.
friend, because
Yeah.
during winter, Hokkaido, I think it gets
Because the electricity.
yeah, the electricity.
Yeah.
So they give them extra 3,000 during winter.
During winter.
We've just been joined by the beautiful lady, and she'll introduce herself to us.
I should do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. My
Hello.
name is Pandu, and I'm from Namibia, and I'm a student here at Hiroshima University, and a Mext scholar too. So, welcome me on the live stream.
You're welcome. Is the scholarship paid on time? Is it paid on time, or or they delay? Because I know some places they delay in
Oh,
paying.
Oh, really?
Some
No, not in
scholarships.
Japan, no.
No,
Some
like-
scholarships.
Yeah, but you're talking about Japan here. Japan,
Yeah.
everything is
Mm.
scheduled.
It's
You understand?
scheduled,
Yeah,
It's
so
very rigid about
if it's
that.
28, by 6 a.m.
Yes, at 6 a.m.
12.
Wow.
Yes.
The moment a minute past midnight,
Yes.
your mom is
I've
getting
checked my
calls.
account. I've
Wow.
checked my account that early before, and it was.
It was there.
Yes.
On point.
So
Wow.
for that, you.
Even if you are doing part time, like if they say you are going to get your salary on the 10th, a minute past 12 midnight,
It
your
will
money
come.
is already
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
For
I
that.
think they work with banks. Bank do the posting.
Yes, they do the
Yeah,
transaction
yeah,
and they will pay
yeah.
later. Yeah.
Maybe it's automated.
Mm.
Yeah, another thing is, in case you came for masters and you are interested in academia or research, is it possible to continue under the university recommended and the embassy recommended? Can you transition directly to
Yeah.
PhD?
Yeah, if maybe you come here with a university recommendation for masters, you can move to PhD.
Oh.
You can move to PhD.
Is it the same for embassy? Can you continue?
And I think even after
Yes.
PhD, you can move
Yes,
to
it's
postdoc.
the same.
Yeah, after PhD you can
You can
get
move to.
postdoc is like employment.
If you get a postdoc, you can move on.
Postdoc is employment.
The scholarship and the
No,
scholarship.
no, no, it's
No,
not
no, no, no,
scholarship.
no, no.
So
It's project based.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
postdoc is not
Because
covered
there are
by
some
the
programs like JICA when we have to go
back.
No,
Yeah,
but
of
for Mext,
course.
you
For
don't need
Mext,
to
you
go
don't
back.
have to. For university recommendation too, you don't have to.
You
Even
don't need to
even
go
the
back.
embassy, you can proceed.
You can proceed.
Embassy recommendation, but it depends on the department. Because in my department, you had to keep a very high GPA, so you could like apply to an extension for like the scholarship. So yeah.
And I think there is also a caveat regards to paying the what do you call the scholarship money.
Stipend.
Yes, the stipend. So you are required to get some grades or
Yeah. Mext GPA.
Yeah, Mext.
We have to have
So if you don't get that GPA,
2.4.
if you don't get that GPA, the stipend will stop coming.
I never knew about that.
No,
Yes,
there
yes,
is,
yes.
there is.
It's there, it's there.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, Mext.
You are expected to get at least,
2.4.
At
is it? It's 2.4, right? Yeah.
Out of 3.
Out of 3.
Wow.
So if you don't get that GPA, the stipend will stop coming.
Wow, that means
Yeah.
all of you are scholars because all of you keep getting
You
your
need
money.
Mine more than 2.5 to be able out of 3 to be able to apply for an extension. for the
Extension.
PhD.
Extension,
And it
okay.
happens the first semester when you're doing the master course. So yeah.
You have to. Oh.
Yeah, for extension, if you want to extend from masters to PhD, you have,
You have to do it
high,
very
Yeah, yeah, you have to be very
Yeah.
good. Your research too must be on point.
Like Pandu.
Yeah, and I think it also
The
depends
serious
on your
one.
professor,
Mm.
right? If your professor sees your outputs and they think you are good,
Yeah.
they will let you continue. Is there anyone here who has continued from masters to PhD? Oh, tell us about the transition. How was the process like? Moving from your masters to PhD, did you need extra documents? How did it go? I think the latest is Pandu.
Yeah, you still use
So it's fresh.
Okay, so moving on from masters to PhD, it's quite because if you are already here, it's quite an easy process. You don't do anything. I haven't handed in any extra documents besides just signing, filling a form where I think I just remember putting my name and for how much longer I need the extension for, and then the sensei signs the signature. And that was it, and it was just like online. They just sent me to like put in my name, my country, the period for the extension, and then the signature, and then I emailed it back to them, and that was it. And after that, they tell you to wait for like some time when they will give you the results, and like after some, I remember I did the extension around towards end of December, and then the results came like towards towards
March,
March, yeah, so
okay.
that's when they tell you the results. So it's quite an easy process when you're already here.
Yeah.
You don't do much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you have to wait for 6 months or you continued directly? You didn't need any waiting?
I didn't need to do any waiting. I continued immediately, yeah.
I think it's the same for us.
I had to submit actually papers, like the
Okay.
admission papers
Okay.
to enroll in PhD, because master course at the end of the master examination, you will do like a mini presentation for what you're gonna do in the PhD, and it's in front of the whole like professors of the department, and they have to vote if they want you to be in a PhD or not in that department. And so then you have, after they give the vote, I think around maybe February or something, end of February. Then you have to submit actual papers, like you're enrolling in a PhD. So, but you don't pay the fees or anything.
Yeah,
so
the
it's-
tuition is free, the application is free.
yeah,
I think in my case, I had to apply online. They sent me a portal to apply, but my student support office helped me with the application, and they sent me some documents for extension. I submitted that, and I was good to go. I think the only thing that maybe took time was my visa extension, because they had to give me like a new visa for the period for my PhD, so that's what was different. Yes, now we've come to almost the end of our video, but we want you as Mext scholars, experienced Mext scholars, to advise all those applying. What would you tell them to do during this whole application process to make sure that the application is not rejected, to make sure it's a sure banker? What should they do?
Yeah, maybe I'll start.
Okay.
It's very important to just submit all the documents to start with, and also to maybe put enough time in doing the filling the forms and writing the field of study research plan. Because for me, I think the field of study research plan is the most important document, because you are trying to sell it to the embassy at the same time selling it to your supervisor. So it's a very important document. You need to really take time to do that. So don't do things in a rush. Just do it on time. That's my advice.
Okay, so okay, I think what I can say is that Mext scholarship is actually cumbersome, and it's detailed. So you should be committed to it. You should really be committed to it, and if you have a supervisor, you shouldn't ignore your supervisor in whatever you do throughout the process. You should update him, ask for his expert view on whatever you are doing, and then I think it will help you. But you need to be focused, and you need to be committed. And don't also people ask me, so Japan, the language barrier, what? Don't think about it. You understand? Japan is a nice place. You can come and
You can see
study.
from you.
Yeah, you can come and study in Japan and be good. So just go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so besides what they said already, I would also recommend that when you're applying, it's best if you also try beforehand to just look for, approach supervisors, email them if they are willing to take potential candidates to supervise as their students. And in this way, when you go and you submit your application and they see that you already have somebody offering to take you, like if you get a scholarship, you kind of stand a higher chance. So in my case, that's what I did. I emailed up to 20 professors, I'm gonna apply for the Mext scholarship. Are you willing to take students if I get a scholarship and all that? So this is quite a big heads up, because then the embassy didn't have to do the job of trying to find me a school anymore. So yeah, if you can do that, that would be great.
Maybe that is country specific.
Oh.
In Nigeria, you don't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, before application, you don't do.
No, mind you, in my case, I did, but no one responded.
No, like this, if the embassy knows that you did that kind of stuff, they will disqualify you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, because
So
they
you
put
should-
university, they put you first choice, second choice. You
Yeah,
have to
you
apply,
should-
you have to put that.
You don't contact before.
Oh.
Contact after you reach the stage where they will give you
The
That's
acceptance
okay.
letter.
acceptance to contact the professor.
Okay.
Ah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I see.
Oh.
So it's
Quite
very
different then.
Yes.
For us, we are allowed to contact.
No, you can't do that. Yeah.
Oh,
So the first thing you need to do is just to submit
oh okay.
the what we call the application.
So we
Submit
should find out
in
then.
details or if anything they ask for, just submit.
So
Okay.
say before you go to, I just remembered one thing. When I was coming, in the application, I think there was a section where they will ask you, are you married? You want to go? I'm being honest here.
Yeah, it's true.
Are you married? You want to bring your spouse or whatever?
You said no.
I said no. But you see, those of you watching us,
If
if you get there,
go and marry.
marry. No,
Yeah,
this is
it's
true.
true. It's true.
The for some of us,
Yeah.
the loneliness and everything.
Yeah, it's
You know.
true, it's true.
So if you can marry
Marry.
and bring your wife.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
your
to make
husband. It's
make
very,
life very easy.
it's very important.
And
Very
also,
important.
your savings will be better because she can work.
Yes, yes.
So you have more money.
Yes.
The only thing is that when you are coming, get your license, okay?
That is
like
all.
have your license 3
Yeah.
months or 6 months before your
Yeah, you can buy a car, you know.
can buy
Car
cars.
is not expensive
80,000,
here, so
121.
you can buy one car.
120,000
You around
yeah,
with your
you get.
wife. Yeah, that is very important.
Seriously,
Yes.
very
For
important.
your mental health.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
people in
I've
Europe,
been here
people
5 years, I'm not married. My mental health
It's
is
fine.
It's fine. Oh, okay.
it depends there. Maybe for guys.
Yeah, for guys. Okay, so this goes to the guys.
Yeah.
They're spending the winter. You know, last winter I had to use like 6 blankets. It wasn't easy.
So yeah, I think
That's
it's a
advice.
nice advice.
Yeah.
If you can, if you want to, then get married. Bring your wife after 6 months, 3 months. Then you start
Bring
your
your
life
wife and
together.
husband.
Yeah.
Or your husband if you want.
The husband. Yeah. It's very
So
important.
it's a good advice.
Transfer is there, very cheap. You can get a family room.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself. You know.
I think my advice would be that like the Mext scholarship, like the documents, like they seem scary, but they're doable. So if you think, I think in most African countries now, most of us are going abroad and we're looking for a better life or a better degree, a degree that is more recognizable. I think Japan is a good place to get that degree, and this scholarship is one of the best scholarships you can get.
Prestigious.
But it also comes like with a lot of trouble, like loneliness. Basically, you're asking.
Just confirm.
Let me explain. So we're most like, I assume most of you watching are Africans. Okay, so to go from Africa to Japan is very long trip. Okay, it's very long trip. So it's actually very expensive if you want to come back to visit, because I've in 5 years I've been once to Tunisia. So
Same here.
yeah, and so it's a good opportunity, but it comes with a lot of difficulties.
Yeah.
If you can go through, you'll be very good. You'll learn a lot of life skills. You'll be more patient and resilient. So yeah, I think go for it, and it's a very nice.
Yeah,
Yes, the
place.
main problem is
This country is very
loneliness. If
very
not,
quiet.
Yeah, you
Not
can
just because you cannot make friends with
Difficult to make
Japanese
friends.
people.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
you cannot. You can only stay through
Mingle
your
And
with-
even
Yeah.
even the lifestyle, lifestyle
It's
when
very
it comes to friendship
individual,
is
yeah.
different. No, in the case, let's say you go out with a Japanese, you have to pay. Like if you eat, you pay. Tomorrow the person can tell you, let's go out again. You go out again, you eat, you pay. So you discover that you're just wasting your money.
That's actually different.
Asking you out and then you pay because we're
No, like
communities
no,
in
no, no,
Africa.
no. It's not like you are going to pay for the person.
for the
Yeah,
person.
no,
But you have to pay yourself.
Yourself,
Of course.
yes, yes.
Yeah, but you, at the end of the day, you feel like you are
If
wasting
you
your
didn't
money.
go out, I was gonna save my money. Now you ask me out, and then I still have. That's not how we ask each other out and
Yeah, so
go.
basically there's
When
nothing
somebody
free
asks
here.
you,
But in Africa, if somebody asks you, the person pays.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, you are wasting your money and nothing is. So,
Actually, you can spend even 6 months without talking to your neighbor. It's very
I don't even know my neighbor. I don't know.
I know my neighbor because.
They look at me, yeah. I don't know them. I just see them passing.
But,
I know.
and that is another challenge. If you are not mentally strong,
You can't.
there are some
Yes.
activities at night that
At
can-
night. Those Latin Americans, they will disturb
that
you.
are make you angry.
So you should be ready. You should be ready. Yeah.
So the best thing is, like you said, the best thing is if you are in relationship, serious one.
Serious
I think
relationship.
it's
Just
not bad.
marry her. Just do
Not
something
bad.
simple and bring her. It will help you a lot.
Because like the financial problem is
Yeah.
not here.
Oh no, yeah.
Or don't cheat on her. Just come here, finish your degree, and
And
go
go
back.
If you have the
It's
plan.
not easy. That thing is not easy. That thing is not easy.
It's doable.
It's
It's not easy,
doable.
especially for some of us, it
Doable.
doesn't happen
This
like
more
that.
sounds like not marrying for the right reasons.
I'm
but
telling you,
loneliness.
yes.
Wow,
No,
guys.
it's for the right
But wait,
But-
it's okay. Yeah, I don't want us to divert, but
But yeah.
it's very important.
Yeah,
Topic
it
for
is.
another
It is.
day.
I think for me, my advice for people is that keep an open mind. You know, in Africa, we are very lively. You wear your normal clothes. We are out there. You meet your neighbor, you can even stop and talk for a long time. It's not the same here.
Yeah.
And one thing that will really help you enjoy your stay, okay, I'm talking from my perspective, because that's what has helped me, is learning Japanese. Because I actually have Japanese friends, and we talk about almost everything. Yeah, so
In Japanese.
in Japanese, yeah, and sometimes in English, yeah. So if you start showing signs that you want to learn the language, they might even be willing to help you. But if you decide that, oh, you want to just stick to your English, what you know, yeah. And just know that the culture is totally different from what you know. Yeah, so keep that open mind and you will learn and enjoy your stay here. Joe, any last words?
Yeah, I can just say be courageous. You can make it. That's my last word.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think you need that even to survive, especially in maybe I think in all field, not
Yeah,
necessarily
even in
STEM, not
research,
necessarily-
yeah.
So in to survive your research, you have to be very, very strong mentally,
mentally.
and you
Focus.
have to put in what we call the work, because here your professor will not do anything
For
you.
you.
Will do everything.
You
So
do
you have to
everything
do
yourself.
you have to do the experiment and you have to do the writing.
And the analysis.
So the
everything.
analysis, yeah, you have to do it. So I think the best thing is to come here prepared. Like I
Yeah.
want to, at least I want to put a year into this thing to understand everything, because the machine. Another thing is that when it comes to STEM field, the machines are in what we call in Japanese.
Yeah, the manuals.
The manual you have to read in Japanese, understand in Japanese. So nobody, like let's say, although some lab can train you, so you have to read, go practice, have field experiment, go back again. So you have to be very.
But you have to do a lot of work yourself.
Yeah, a lot
Sure,
of
sure.
work depends on
So
you.
you have to be, you have to come prepared. But once you get it, then it's become easy. You can plan your time.
I think I want to say that for those of you watching us, we are not trying to scare you. One thing I can say is that if we are
Can
doing
survive,
it,
yeah.
if we are surviving,
Yeah,
you can also
you can
survive.
You can
Just make your mind then.
Yeah, actually, for Africa,
And there is
if you come
second
here-
street here, second hand shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's add all
Okay,
those
yeah, our cost of
That's a
living,
good-
yeah.
You don't need
I
to-
would advise, like, even, okay, if you get opportunity in US and Japan, let me even ask you, which one will you pick?
US and Japan.
Yeah.
You see, okay, well, for me,
Yeah.
I don't actually look at the country. I look at the funding first, and I look at the supervisor.
Mhm.
My supervisor he was and he's still a very good person to me, you see. So I look at those things before I choose. But if I would choose Japan, apart from those things, I think the peace. In Japan, you can go out, come around 12 a.m., 1 a.m., whatever, no one cares. You understand? I don't even remember the last time I heard about gunshots and all that, you see. So I think that those things, also counts when I want to choose Japan.
And
Yeah.
let me ask you, like, racism, any encounter?
Well, me,
Yeah.
I don't actually think about, I don't give a damn about racism, to be honest, because I don't blame them. I blame my ancestors. You understand? If my country is developed, I wouldn't come here. You see, so I try as much as possible to ignore, there are traces of racism in Japan.
There
it's
are,
not-
there are.
you see, for instance, when you sit in a bus, sometimes they don't want to sit by you. And it's not only with Africans or with
No,
blacks.
it's
They don't even sit by their own,
People.
colleagues or people. You see, so I just sit down, I put my earpiece here, I'm listening to music. I don't care whether you sit by me or not. It's not your fault.
We're giving you realistic advice.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
yes.
not- There's gonna be racism and xenophobia and like colorism everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like he said, your country basically failed you.
Failed
So you have to
us.
go and
So-
find an opportunity for yourself.
There'll been an instance where I think I visited a clinic and the doctor told me plainly that they don't say English speaking people. They say,
we
he said
language,
English,
language.
no, English, no,
Yeah,
English,
language.
only Japanese. You know, and I can't even, I just moved it. You see, but I was able to find an English speaking clinic. And then I went in. So
I think
it's,
it was stressful.
yeah, so
That's great.
the bad aspect is very good.
But and I think after graduation too, like after your program, there is opportunity to get jobs.
To get jobs,
Yeah,
and, you know, there are a lot of opportunities around. So
The good side.
yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming. This was a great time. We spent a lot. We've delved deep. We've learned so much from you, learned scholars. Thank you all for joining our live video today. If you are new here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hold on for the next live video. That's all for today. Bye.
Bye. All the best to you all.
Just end it.
Bye.
Wait.
Konnichiwa.
From where?
Sayonara.
The eggs.
Konnichiwa.
Sayonara.